Good day. Today we are going to be doing some programming in PyCharm on the Raspberry Pi. We will be doing a simple project today. We're just going to be flashing an LED. When programming on the Raspberry Pi, I find it a very diverse unit because you can program on it, you can run your code on it, you can do everything on it and connect things to it. Unlike other ones where you need to have another computer, you need to have just a lot more stuff and then the board. So to me, the Raspberry Pi is definitely a really good starting point to learning how to program and work with simple electronics projects. But we will work our way into other sensors, we'll build some projects, we'll tie them all together. When I first started programming with Python, it was really boring to me, learning all the different things on it because I wasn't excited about what I could be doing with it afterwards. So that's what I'm going to be doing, basically allowing you to follow along, copy the code, learn the code, see it being written, and then from there, tweaking the code as you would like, and just understand, kind of get what's going on. The more you see the code, the more you're going to be able to kind of see, oh, so that being changed does this, that does this, and I want you to learn at that kind of a rate. Where you're watching things being done, you're viewing the code, and you're not scared to try things out. So behind me on my desk here, I do have a Raspberry Pi set up. I do have my breadboard set up, and I do have an LED on it. What I will do is I do have some of these Raspberry Pi boards left, just really basic, one LED and one resistor soldered, and GPIO header pin which gets soldered on there. So if you're wanting to have something like this where you can put it, just plop it onto the top of your Raspberry Pi and start programming, let me know. I'll probably try to give a few of these away. I do have more than I'll ever need, so definitely post in the comments below that you're interested in one. Maybe I'll do a draw for that, and I will get one of these kits sent out to you. One LED is a strong learning tool. I'm not going to lie to you, there's a ton of things we can do with it. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get my camera set up on the bench there, and then I am going to bring up my VNC viewer, and we're going to go ahead and start to get things set up for programming that board. Right now I only have the breadboard, but I wanted you to see what it looked like when you're just connecting to a breadboard. I do recommend getting an adapter board so you can plug into the breadboard, but if you don't have it, not a problem. Something to look forward to in the future. It's not needed right away. You can directly connect to the Raspberry Pi's GPIO pins. So for this example today, we're going to be using GPIO 18, and we are going to be using that, the ground, and we have a resistor involved there too. I think it's a 220 ohm resistor that I have on there. You can use a 330, try a bunch of different resistors. When you're first playing around, you're going to see some different things happen. And to me, that's the fun of it all. By trying new things, seeing what happens, we can accomplish new things. And one moment here, and we're going to flip over to the Workbench right now. Alright, so there we go. We have our Raspberry Pi set up here. As you can tell, I am using my old Raspberry Pi case for this. I forget what Raspberry Pi I have in there exactly. I want to say it's a 4 GB one, but it could be a 2. I have my LED hooked up here. I'm just going to quickly show you here. Short pin is going to ground. Long pin is going to our pin 18 on the Raspberry Pi. and then I have the resistor going to the ground here. I'm coming into here. This one here, that is pin 18. So if you don't have a resistor on your LED, make sure you do. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go back over to the computer here. We're going to bring this up on the screen here so we can actually have a look at our Raspberry Pi. Now I will try to, that's a really bad photo. Why is that so terrible? I am sorry, that sucks. Let's see if I can get zoomed in a little bit more here or something. Well, I'm not too sure how much better I can get that, but for now that's just gonna have to do. We're gonna go with that and just hopefully that will do the trick. So now all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring up my VNC viewer. We're gonna go like this. So now we have our screen set up here. We have our breadboard. I would have liked to have had a better shot of that, but unfortunately I ran out of actual plugins available to me around my computer here, so I had to plug it in over there. That's just the way it went. Okay, so anyways, alrighty, so we've got that kind of loaded there. I'm happy with that. It's just gonna do its thing here. So now for the fun part here, basically what we're gonna have to do is write a simple program here, and I mean it's gonna be dead simple. Like, there is not much more I can do to make this simpler than what it is. So what I want to do is I want to just do a simple program where we turn on the LED. It states that the LED is on, then we can turn it off. So that's gonna happen. And then from there we can try something else, but I just want you to see, and I'm playing this as you haven't used Python that much, but you're wanting to learn how to program with Python and use it with your Raspberry Pi. If you haven't watched the video I did on installing PyCharm on your Raspberry Pi, I do have a new version that I do have out, so make sure to check the description below. I'll have a link to installing PyCharm, and then you can be up to this point with us, and then you can plug in your Raspberry Pi to a breadboard like I did here, or you don't need that ribbon cable or the breadboard adapter board. So the first thing I want to show you, just because I think it would be a good thing for you to know right now, that while we're using the Raspberry Pi, if we open up terminal here and we type pin out, hit enter, it's going to give us our information on our GPIO. Alright, so now that's out of the way. If you need that, remember, just open up terminal, Control Alt and T, type pin out. It's going to give you that GPIO layout of your Raspberry Pi. So I'm going to close that guy there. Let's go ahead and let's delete this main part here, and now we're just going to do import our pi.gpio. Now there's a reason why I'm doing this simple one with you as well, and that's because we're going to need to do some other things. Import that as GPIO. So basically all we're going to be doing is referencing everything that is typed GPIO is going to reference our pi.gpio. And then we're going to go import time, and then GPIO set mode, and then it should be BCM. Oh, GPIO, come on. Let's delete that, and that's going to be GPIO.BCM. Move that over, hit enter. I seem to be getting a lot of slowdown here right at the moment. Must be my internet connection causing issues. Okay, so GPIO.BCM, and then we're going to go GPIO.set. Oh, set warnings, and we're going to set that to false. So basically, if there's any errors, warnings and that, it's not going to report it. GPIO.setup, and we want 18 as our GPIO pin, and we're going to go GPIO.out. Right, and then we will go print LED on. And the great thing about PyCharm is it does autocomplete for you, so that definitely helps, and it lets you know when you've made a spelling mistake, like that. Okay, so we have 18, and it will give you little hints here as well. It might be like you're missing a space here, and that's exactly what was going on. And here it could be whatever it is, but it's going to let you know what you're missing once you run it in the problems area, or it'll have something written here, highlighted errors, that kind of a thing. You can click on that there. White space before my print, I can backspace that, clean that code up there. So now we've done that, we want GPIO.output, and we want 18, and we want to GPIO.high. So this is just going to set that to high, so basically it's going to turn it on. Then we're going to go time.sleep, and then we're going to say for 1 second, and then we are going to go GPIO output, and once again we're using pin 18, so we always got to reference that pin, and we're going to set it to GPIO.low, and that's it. We should be able to run that little bit of code there and be able to actually see something happening on our Raspberry Pi there. So it's just a little bit of code. The one thing I should mention now, I did notice I didn't mention it when we were writing this, is BCM. And basically that's going to be our pin out select. So I always use BCM when I can. It's just what I learned, and it's what I default to in my head. So that's going to refer to the Broadcom SOC channel. And so GPIO 18 is what we're using. So this is the Broadcom SOC channeling. And then we have our physical pin number. So we're going by this one here, not by this one in here. This is basically, you're going to be able to use this to find out what pin number you're on, 1 to 40 right there. But yeah, I think I might have mentioned that wrong there. But yes, we are on pin 12 on the Raspberry Pi, not on this one here. So we are on pin 12, GPIO 18. Makes a lot more sense that way, because that's what I wrote all my other boards for. It's just been a really long day. I'm sorry. It's going to happen when I mess up like that. But we caught that. We're ready to move forward. So now, if I run this, is it going to run? Probably not. And there's one reason why. So I'm going to go ahead, up top here. I'm going to run it. Oh no. What do we have here? Line 1. Import rpi.gpi. No module found named rpi. So we need to fix that. And to fix that, all we're going to do is open up our terminal here. And this is where having that working terminal will be nice. So all we're going to do is go pip install exactly what it was, pi.gpio, and we're going to install that module. I think that's right. It should be. Okay, so we have successfully installed that. We should be able to rerun the program, and hopefully we've seen, I can't tell because I'm not even looking that way, but so I'm going to rerun it here, and there we go. The LED turned on and we are working. So now we have the single LED working. That is all we're doing for today. Let me know in the comments section below of any projects that you think you could come up with one LED. Like I said, maybe we'll do the best. We'll get a new board, and I will either assemble it or you can assemble it yourself and practice those soldering skills. So basically, let me know below what you think you could do with one LED and Python. There is more we can do, and I've done a lot more when I was programming this board here, but this was the simple program that I had done to get all my boards tested to make sure that they were actually working once I installed an LED on it and everything was communicating properly. Okay, that was a very simple project. There wasn't that much that we actually had to do on that program to get everything up and running properly. Take in that code there, play around with it. When you get your LED set up on your breadboard, try that code and then try a few different things. There's some things that you can do there to make things happen, and it could be as simple as the time it takes for it to turn off. When it comes to Python, I'm not going to be teaching you what everything is. That you're going to have to do on your own. I am just building small fun little projects here, and hopefully you can follow along, play around with them as well. This is kind of that first little episode that I'm doing, and get you kind of in that headspace of what to expect going forward. I'll be showing you the code. I will be explaining a few things within the code, but ultimately I'm not going to tell you every little detail on every little line of the code. We just don't have that much time for me to go through every single line of code and explain every little detail. So the best thing for you to do would be to take a few YouTube Python courses and learn all the different things. Just learn wherever you can, even picking up some of the Raspberry Pi books and reading them. They're going to give some example code. You're going to be able to see that written out. That being said, I will have my code here posted on my GitHub page where you can grab it, check it out, try it out yourself. So you do not need to have PyCharm installed, but I definitely think it is the best for being able to build more complex projects. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I didn't kind of make your head explode with just the randomness of the content today, of me more or less basically explaining what we're doing going forward. So I hopefully you're still awake. But with that being said, I would like to thank you all so much for watching my videos, supporting me through this adventure, growing from a really small channel to a little less small channel. It's been great hearing your guys' input on what you want to see and what I can do next for you guys. If you guys are wanting me to go in more depth detail on Python, though, we might be able to work something out where I do that, but I just feel there is a lot of content out there when it comes to learning the basics on Python. So make sure you check those videos out. I can definitely recommend a few channels to check out where, like I said, I'm dealing with just the Raspberry Pi's GPIO for now. We will build some GUIs and play with it that way. But for the most part, we are going to be doing just GPIO programming, making things happen, doing things like having it so, things are launching on startup and all that kind of fun stuff. But that's it for me today. I think I've worn out enough time on trying to ramble on here, even more so than I really anticipated. So I would like to thank you all for watching. You guys have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time. Take care, eh?